The wreckage of a plane that crashed in the Urals, killing all 13 on board, has been found nearly a year after it went missing. Search teams had scoured thousands of square kilometres without success, but it turned out they didn't need to look so far afield. It was in a swamp just a few kilometres from the airport. With more, here's Andrew Farmer.
It was a disaster that looked like it would never be solved. This was the devastating scene that three men stumbled across this week in the Russian Urals. The remains of a plane that had gone missing nearly a year ago, with a loss of 13 lives. Normally the biplane was used to put out wildfires, but on the night of June the 11th last year, it's believed the pilot took it for a fatal joyride with 12 friends and relatives. Well, Yuri Matsarsky was one of three people who made the discovery, and he is with us now. This plane was missing for over a year. How did you find it?
We were approached on behalf of a group of hunters who saw a strange metallic structure out in the bogs not far from the city of Serov. Although they suspected it to be the plane, they were not sure. The location was only 4 kilometers away from the nearest road, but the journey was very difficult, and it's no easy task trekking through the taiga. When we got there, it was obvious that the metallic object was indeed what was left of the plane.
And can you describe the scene of the crash? Was the plane badly damaged? Were there bodies?
The plane itself went down at a very sharp angle and became half submerged in the bog. The shock of the impact stripped the plane's body of sheeting, leaving behind only a skeletal airframe packed with human bones. Not one skeleton was intact. We counted 11 skulls in various conditions, some with evident burn marks, others with multiple puncture wounds.
And why do you think the authorities were unable to find this aeroplane? After all, it crashed only 8 kilometres from the airfield.
For most of the year, the taiga in this area is simply impassable. The plane crashed in the middle of a bog, and with ice still present there, it allowed us, if barely, to get to the wreckage. In the winter, the snow is too deep, and in the summer, the entire area becomes a bog. When the rescue was conducted in the summer, rescuers simply couldn't reach the area, and we saw the path that they had left behind. It turned out they had passed only about 50 metres from an area where the wreck could be seen.
Well, a criminal investigation has been reopened into the case, and it will try to get to the bottom of what happened. What, after all, was the pilot's incentive to steal the plane with friends, which included a local police chief, security guard and the airport's night watchman. Officials have claimed they may have been drinking and may have wanted to fly to a remote bathhouse in the region. And then there are those who think something more sinister could have happened. The whole episode is reminiscent of the infamous Dyatlov Pass plane crash in the same region in 1959. Then 9 people perished in odd circumstances, and their mutilated bodies were found at the scene, with a Soviet investigation concluding they had died from a compelling unknown force. Well, despite the wreckage of this latest crash being found, there are still an awful lot of questions to be answered.